Hello students. So we are going to start the revision of the animal tissues. In our previous video, we did the revision of plant tissue. So now we are going to revise animal tissues. Okay. So animal tissues are of four main types: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. Now there are subdivisions of each of the type of tissues except nervous tissue. So epithelial tissue are subdivided into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and stratified epithelium. Furthermore, the connective tissue is divided into four types: areolar, adipose, skeletal, and fluid. And it is also further divided, like areolar is divided into two: ligaments and tendon. Skeletal is divided again into two: bone and cartilage. And fluid again is divided into two: blood and lymph. Then moving on to the muscular tissue, which is divided into three: striated, smooth or non-striated, and lastly cardiac. So firstly we are going to revise the epithelial tissue. Now epithelial tissue is the simplest tissue, covering or protective tissue that is separated from the underlying tissue by fibrous basement membrane, hence always grows on the other tissue. It can be simple, that is made up of one layer of cell, or stratified, that is made up of many layers of cell. The characteristics of the cells of this tissue are tightly packed cells to form a continuous sheet, almost no intercellular spaces, and where they are located? So they are located in the skin, lining of the mouth, blood vessels, alveoli, kidney tubules. It covers the organs and cavities inside the body and separates different systems from each other. As it performs the outer layer of the skin, it protects the body from drying, injury, and infections. Now note, as whatever enters the body or leaves the body must cross at least one layer of epithelium, that is in general squamous epithelium. Permeability of cells of epithelium is important for the exchange of substances. So the classification of epithelium. Now on the basis of number of layers, there are two: simple, that is made up of single layer, and stratified, that is made up of many layers. And then on the basis of cell shape, there is squamous, which are having flat cells, tile-like appearance; cuboidal, which are square-shaped cells; and lastly columnar, which are tall and pillar-like cells. So let us see what are the differences between them. So, squamous epithelium. The cells of this tissue are thin, flat, irregular, which fit like a floor tiles to form delicate lining called the pavement epithelium. The nucleus is located in the center of the cells. Where they are found? So, in the esophagus, lining of the mouth, alveoli of the lungs, and blood vessels. What is the function? So, it protects the underlying tissues from injury, germs, and exchange of gases in lungs, and materials between cells and blood occur through these cells. Next is the cuboidal epithelium. The cells of this tissue are cuboidal with round nucleus in the center. They are located in the kidney tubules, duct of salivary glands. The function is gives mechanical support. At times, the epithelial tissue forms a gland that separates substances. Such epithelium is known as glandular epithelium. Then, columnar epithelium. cells are more tall and less wide, that is pillar-like cells placed side by side. The nucleus is situated near the base. Where they are found? So in the inner lining of intestine, in respiratory tract, cells have cilia that moves and push the mucus to clear it. Such epithelium is known as ciliated epithelium. What function it does? Helps in absorption, excretion and secretion. Then lastly, stratified squamous epithelium. So, as you all know, squamous cells are flat cells arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear of parts. Where they are located? In the skin to prevent wear and tear, in the tongue, esophagus lining of the mouth. And the function is there, protection and prevents the wear and tear. Next is the connective tissue. So, the connective tissue connects various tissues together in any organ. Most abundant tissue which is found among all the animal tissues is the connective tissue. What functions it plays is of binding, supporting and packing of organs of the body. Its characteristics of the cell of this tissue are: there are few cells which are loosely packed, large intercellular spaces which is filled with jelly-like substance which is known as matrix or medium. So, in general, the different types of connective tissue are given as follows. Like for example, firstly, blood, which connects all the tissues and organs, has fluid matrix called plasma, which has proteins, salts and hormones in which RBC, WBC, platelets are lying. It transports gases, food, hormones and waste to parts of the body. Next is the bone and cartilage. So bone forms a skeleton that supports body and anchors muscle. It is a strong and non-flexible tissue in which the bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix which is made up of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Then cartilage, which is widely spaced cells, hard elastic tissue, softer than bone. Matrix is solid but elastic due to the presence of protein which is known as chondrin, which is why we can bend a cartilage but not the bone. It smoothens the bone surfaces at joints and also found in nose, ear, trachea and larynx. The next is the ligament and tendons. Ligaments connects the bones to bone. It is elastic, has strength and very less matrix. Whereas tendons connects the muscle to the bones. They are less elastic, fibrous tissue with great strength and more matrix. So we saw about the areolar tissue in which ligament and tendons were there. Then adipose tissue, it stores fat found below the skin and between the internal organs, which provides kind of cushioning between the organs. Cells are filled with fat globules. It acts like an insulator due to the presence of fats. Now next we move on to the muscular tissue. So what is the function of muscular tissue? It is responsible for the movement in the body. The characteristics of the cells of this tissue are: they are long and called muscle fibers. Muscles have special proteins called the contractile proteins which contract and relax to bring movement. So in general, there are three types of muscular tissue: the striated, non-striated, that is the smooth muscles, and cardiac. Now let us study them in detail. So the first we start with the striated or skeletal or stripped or voluntary muscle fibers. So they are called stripped or striated muscles as they have light and dark bands or striations. They are voluntary muscles as they can move as per our own will. They are called skeletal muscles as attached to all bones and help in movement. The structure includes long cylindrical shaped unbranched cells, multinucleated, that is having many nucleus, fibers arranged in the form of bundles, and they have light and dark bands. Where they are found? So in the limbs, tongue, body, face, neck, all the parts where we can actually move that part of our body by our own will. Working, they contract quickly but can't remain contracted for a long time, so they get fatigued or tired, and that is why we feel so much pain when we are exercising the same exercise for longer period of time. Next is the smooth or unstripped or non-striated involuntary muscle fibers. They are called unstripped or non-striated muscles as they do not show light and dark bands. They are called involuntary as they do not move as per our own will. The structure involves spindle-shaped cells, uninucleated, that is having one nucleus, fibers arranged in the form of sheets. Light and dark bands are absent. Where they are found? So they are found in the iris, ureters, bronchi of lungs, alimentary canal wall, and blood vessels. Now they contract slowly but can remain contracted for long, so do not get fatigued or tired easily. Then there comes cardiac muscle fibers. Now as the name suggests, you can better know that where they are found. So the structure in between the striated and the non-striated muscle fibers, and they are involuntary. These muscles show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout life, and they pump blood as they are present in heart. The structure involves short cylindrical shaped branched cells which are uninucleated. The fibers are arranged in the form of network. Faint dark and light bands are seen. They are found in the walls of the heart, and they contract quickly and rhythmically, therefore they do not get fatigued or tired. Lastly, we move on to the nervous tissue. Cells of nervous tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. Many nerve cells are bounded by connective tissue to make a nerve. What is the function they play? So, highly specialized tissue that helps in transmitting stimuli, that is any message from one place of the body to other. They control all the activities of the body. Location, so they are found in the brain, spinal cord and nerves. How is the structure? So its structure looks like a tree with branches coming out of it. A neuron has basically three parts. A star-shaped body which is known as cyton, which is the cell body which has nucleus and cytoplasm. A single long part which appears like a fiber is known as axon, which carries message away from the cyton. And lastly, a short branched part called the dendrites which carry the messages towards the cyton. And lastly, there is the nerve endings through which the message is passed from one neuron to the other neuron. You will study about the nervous tissue in detail in 10th standard. So wait till then, and thank you for watching the video.